All right, we're gonna call this town board meeting to order. The fire exits are outside that door at each end of the hall. There is a defibrillator across the hall if one is needed. We will start with the pledge of allegiance to the flag and a moment of silence for all deceased residents of Hampton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will continue with our invocation from Pastor Roberta Davis from Christ Chapel Wesleyan Church.
And thank you all for allowing us to do this again. I'm actually a fill-in tonight, Pastor John Evil, so hope he's feeling better. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, we do thank you. Thank you that we have the privilege to come into Town Hall and to openly pray. And that the Lord and everyone who allows us. So Lord, we do give you thanks for this town. Thank you for the protection during all the snow we've been having as maintenance men have been plowing and trying to keep the streets clear. Lord, we just thank you for there's not hasn't been any major. And so Lord, we just thank you for the town that we are privileged to live in. We pray for all of the elected officials tonight. Pray you would lift them up and pray that they would walk with you. You would guide and direct them in the way that you would like to see them. Thank you for everyone that lives here. May you continue to bless families, Lord. May you continue to provide for those that are in need. And I just pray tonight, Lord, that you would be with Pastor John. Help him, Lord, as he recuperates. And pray that he will be out in that place. So Lord, we just offer this to you for your glory. We give you thanks and praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for filling in.
I will now go to a scout meeting. Good seeing you.
All right, we will do the roll call, please.
Bartlett.
Here.
Wright.
Here.
Mokel. Jaeger.
Here.
Best.
Here. We're going to continue with the public forum. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes, we can see that wishes to talk to this board? Seeing that there is nobody, we will close the public forum part of this meeting. I'm going to change your order up a little bit just to get you guys in and out here. We are going to have an update from our ambulance company here in town, Mercy Flight. So you guys get the floor. You'd like to give us an update on how things are going down here and everything? And is there anything we're going to be looking forward to, or?
Sure, I'll give you a little bit, and then Adam can kind of fill you on anything local. My name is Mike DeLuza. I'm the Director of Medical Operations for Mercy Flight. I oversee the ground and air operations for all the medical crews. Essentially, one of the things that we really keyed on trying to do is when we took over the operation for COVA, especially out here, was to try to show up staffing. Try to get more consistent staffing out here so that the residents could rely on having ALS services, our advanced life support, along with ELS services, our basic life support. We've been able to accomplish that. We're now staffing an ambulance with a basic life support crew 24/7, along with a paramedic on a fly car 24/7. Very little holes in that schedule at this point. Our next phase now is to kind of just keep an eye on and monitor call volume and see how that's going. And with call volumes increasing, looking at when and where does it make sense to add additional resources to the mix, those kinds of things. One of the other things that Adam works on watching and monitoring out here is out of area mutual aid requests. We certainly want to, essentially work with the other areas to be able to provide them, some backup services and like that when necessary. At the same time, balance that against, does it make sense to take the resource away from the town? Is it a call of a nature that really requires that, or can they look for something different? Because obviously, our resources out here right now, are limited to one BLS ambulance and one paramedic flight car. And taking any of those away kind of takes a little bit of that coverage away from the town residents that we were trying to bring back. So Adam does a really nice job watching and monitoring that and making sure that we kind of balance that out. So that we're staying available for the residents as much as we can. And we have to kind of work that system, because at the same time with having the resources that we have, there are times that we're tied up and we have to rely on a missionary request for somebody to come in and take that next call or third call or what have you. So it's kind of reciprocal, but we just want to monitor that and make good judgment calls on when to take those resources. Because again, we would work at getting that staffing level up to a more reliable point with the vehicle. So our next phase is keep an eye on call volume. Is that if it's increasing and we're seeing a rise there, that when we look at additional resources and another ambulance out there, so that we can again keep that service level that we kind of want it to be. Again, just I'm sure most people are aware, but just in case you're not, January 1st we actually took over operations in central and eastern Orleans County again. Monroe's had that for the last 2 years. So we actually have that service back, so we're taking care of that area as well. The 7 towns put an RFP out, and we responded successful in that RFP. Was for 2 basically support ambulances 24/7 and paramedic flight car 24/7. So we staff 1 ambulance from the Fancher Hamilton Marine Fire Department and the other one at the Cobra base in the Elgin. The flight car staff out there as well. Some resources in that area, as well as and then we still continue to operate in Genesee County, where we're typically running 8 ambulances a day out of Genesee County. And oftentimes we'll float up a little bit into. We're trying to not take a resource from here to slide down into Orleans to fill. We're trying to slide up from Genesee County to do that because we have more resources down in Genesee County. So that's kind of been our plans to watch how that shifts. Because again, our goal is to keep that service level, the service available for residents out there. As far as other things go, I mean, we're always looking at different new equipment options. We just put all the cardiac monitors in service system wide. To get some additional Lucas devices for the Hamlet operation if we're successful on that grant. So again, we're always trying to find funding opportunities to continue to upgrade and update equipment, things of that nature. Same thing with keeping our ambulances up to date. Currently, we've got 5 ambulances on order for this year. It's just a waiting game. We order them. We gotta wait for them to get built. We expect 2 of them, by early summer, and then I expect the other 3 to be more towards the end of the summer. And then generally, what we do is once we start getting these in, we look at all of our resources and we kind of start rotating out, and the ambulances that are older or getting up in mileage, we're looking at. Because sometimes, again, given the geography that we cover, we may have some ambulances that aren't that old, but they have a lot of miles on it because we're driving a lot. So we look at all that and kind of leave resources around it in essence around that fashion. So from the bigger picture, that's kind of where we're at. If you want to kind of speak to anything that's going on specific to you guys at the base, so.
Nothing too crazy. We've definitely seen an uptick in our call volume in January. This past January, the numbers that I gave Rick, as far as our
mutual aid requests to our in-house, at-home requests, still sitting about 30% of the calls that we're getting dispatched on are coming in as mutual aid requests. Of those, again, we're looking at, do we have the resources to be able to help? Is this something that is this a cardiac arrest, stroke patient, cardiac patient in general, trauma patient that needs an immediate response? Or is this a call that somebody who has more resources can go on, so we can keep somebody here? Our biggest battle up here is that on the west side of Monroe County, we don't have a lot of resources. The east side of the county, just about every agency that runs out there, Pittsburgh, Harrington, Penfield, they've got usually 4 to 5 ambulances on at a time, each agency, during the day. They have higher call volumes, but it's easier for them to back each other up. When we come out here onto the west side, it's us and Monroe Ambulance. Gates is in Spencerport. Our next closest, if Gates is not available in Spencerport, it's up on the lake, is Aronicoke, if Monroe can't cover for us. So that definitely plays into what we can and can't do. And then Brockport Ambulance on occasion has a crew on. We never really know when. As far as new equipment, again, we have the new cardiac monitors that we put into service finally. So far, so good. Really enjoying them. It's definitely a step up from the monitors that we were running with. The monitor that we did have out here, just as a little background, we started the ALF program up back in January of 2020. The monitor we were using was a refurbished Zoll X series. Cost about $26,000. So the LifePath 35s that we're starting to use now is a tremendous increase of the things that we can do with this monitor it's awesome. It's stuff that I could have only imagined back in 2020. Yeah, that's about it.
Those new ones cost you a lot.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah. We purchased 32 of them. It was over $1 million.
That's about it on their side.
What's the hospital times have they gotten? They still.
They're about the same. I don't think we're gonna see hospital times like they were before COVID. I think that's
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's we see that at Buffalo hospitals. You see that out in bigger Rochester hospitals. So yeah, it's staffing is tough everywhere. It's tough everywhere. It trickles right into hospitals and everything else. So you end up getting tied up. We try to our dispatch does a pretty decent job of trying to keep an eye on all our crews at hospitals, and if it's getting really long, a lot of times they'll call me and it's like, what can we do? And then I'll try to get some info on what the patient is like, what the condition is. Because hospitals like to hold the crews there to watch them, but there's no reason for the crew to be there. After I give it an hour. After about an hour, if the patient can safely be placed in the waiting room, then that's what we do, and we get our resources back in service. We try to work with the hospitals before we do that, and just say, look, can you get a bed? Where are you at? But yeah, Adam's right. I don't see that really getting much better anytime soon.
Well, on that, the nurse navigation program, or Nurse Nav, it was in the news. I just remember this. A couple weeks ago, they did a news story on it. That's something again that Monroe County's been utilizing for the past 2 years. For anybody that hasn't heard about the Nurse Nav program, we call it a short. When somebody calls 911, they go through a triage system. So they call 911, what's your emergency? They tell you what their emergency is. The telecommunicators on the other side then are tasked with triaging an initial triage of this patient. Is this a critical patient or a non-critical? There's we classify them as a BLS Delta, basic life support Delta calls. These would be sprained toe, I've got a cough, cold, sniffles, these folks calling 911. What the nurse navigation program does is it will, once these patients are triaged from the telecommunicator, they get bumped over to a nurse on a phone who will then continue to triage this patient to make sure that the patient is appropriate for the system, for this program. If they are, they work with scheduling them a doctor's appointment, getting them an appointment in urgent care. They will work with them to get some sort of transportation if they need it, like an Uber or a Lyft. The whole idea behind the Nurse Nav program is to take the stress off of the hospital system and the EMS system. For us, out here on the edge of the county, not so much. We tend to, if somebody calls 911 out here, they tend to be sick. They usually, we joke, they're the ones that they wait until the very last minute. And then they call us when they're just about to die.
They should have probably come 3 days ago.
Yeah, they're the ones that should have seen it 3-4 days earlier. It has a bigger impact in places like the city and places like Greece, higher population centers, because especially for AMR and Monroe, that's a lot of their calls. A lot of their calls are picking up these patients who will end up going to the waiting room anyways, who might be better off seeing their primary physician or seeing an urgent care. And where that helps us out, it's kind of like a trickle-down effect, so to speak, because when you're taking those calls out of the queue for AMR and Monroe, for example, their resources that would be tied up on those calls, they're going to be able to take care of the sicker patients. If they're able to handle the sicker patients, they're able to handle more of their call volume. If they're able to handle more of their call volume, we don't get requested as mutual aid as much. They're able to handle more of their calls. So they're still, it's still a work in progress. I know it made the news again because it was initially coming in as just a recommendation through downtown, through the 911 center. Now what's happening is as soon as these patients are saying the magic words, they're getting redirected to the nurse navigation system. And they're being triaged by a nurse. If those patients say something like, oh yeah, I have chest pain, then they're immediately getting sent back to downtown, being sent back to the county 911. And this is the same system. They're using it down in Washington, D.C. They're using it in Atlanta. They're having quick turnarounds. If it's somebody, oh no, this person really needs an ambulance, we're talking 15 seconds. They said 15, 20 seconds on average. This nurse navigation program is kicking the job back to the home agency, or in our case, it would be County 911, and they're dispatching the appropriate resources. So it's not, we're not running into a situation where somebody who's having a real medical emergency doesn't need somebody to help them get into an urgent care. They need to go to a hospital. It's being realized and it's being handled, being transferred quickly, so those folks aren't waiting long periods of time for emergency response. So that's for the whole thing.
I know, we're glad you're out here, Mike, and especially you, Adam's been here for long, he's a local person. We're glad you came out here to talk to us, and we're glad that you've been out here. The call volumes that you do now, I mean, you've increased what we can do here in Hammond, and we're glad you're using our facility and everything. That, I mean, if that thing is vacant, it's not doing us any good, and you guys are in there and you're using it.
Yeah, and our plan is, to continue operations from there. We are still in the process of working through the asset transfer with COVA as a nonprofit and State Attorney General's office and all that kind of stuff. COVA, in the eyes of the Department of Health, is a transporting or responding EMS agency that doesn't exist anymore. Their certificate of need, their operating certificate is transferred to us, so we have that, but they still exist in New York State's eyes as a not-for-profit because they're still going through the process to rectify and close out, all the books and all that kind of stuff. So the ambulances, you know, and building, it's still kind of an under COVID for now, but, you know, eventually roll over to us, we think, we're pretty certain will. You know, once that asset transfer process is completed. I don't really know the timeline on it, I know that we're getting pretty close at this point, but, you know, there's a lot of moving parts and you're dealing with things going through, you know, the state attorney general's office, you know, all those kinds of things, so. Just takes time. You know, our plan is to stay right where we are. We don't wanna move, we don't wanna go anyplace else. We wanna be right there, you know, so that's our plan.
I know the town, like I said, we're very pleased that you are out here, that you are where you are right now, helping us out and everything, because we were running out volunteers, and like you just said, you know, getting help nowadays is tough, so you guys coming in, it's a really big deal.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, and, you know, like, knock on wood right now, because, you know, our, you know, again, system-wide, our staffing is very strong, we continue to have a very large influx of applications coming in, which is fantastic. You know, and we hire, you know, virtually most of the people that apply, they go through our interview process, as long as they, you know, to demonstrate that they have the knowledge and the skills, you know, we'll bring them on board and train them and, you know, kind of go from there, whether they're brand new coming out of, you know, EMT school or they've been doing it for a while. You know, we do have a pretty good vetting process during our interviewing and hiring, you know, to try to, you know, make sure that they, you know, they have the skills necessary. You know, but, so we've been bringing a lot of folks on board, it's really helped push our staff, you know, up quite a bit. And that's, our plan is to continue doing that, and then we kind of grow our paramedics from within. We bring in the, you know, the EMT basics, you know, kind of get them into the system, get them trained up, you know, and then it gives us the opportunity either, you know, some of the new ones that want to continue to move up to move them into paramedic school, or helps fill the holes for some of the other EMT basics that have been on board for a while to, you know, go to paramedic school. So, you know, we've been putting, you know, since we broke out of COVID, this was a plan I wanted to start when I took over this role, and then COVID hit like 2 weeks after I started this, which just kind of kiboshed everything. But since we got out of all the COVID stuff, you know, we've probably put on average 7 or 8 people through paramedic school. So, and right now, between 3 different training sites, possibly 4, I'm not sure if they're in my MCC right now, but between ECC, Erie County started their program, and then All Stars run their program down in Southern Tier. You know, we've probably got, I think we've got 12 people in paramedic school right now. So that's what's helping us grow that piece. So it's been a very good system for us.
Now, you said asset transfer from Cobra to you guys. Doesn't Hamlet own the building, right? Like you said, transferring the ambulances in the building? I thought Hamlet volunteer ambulance owned the building.
But there was some, that all got squared away, because, again, I don't know all the ins and outs, I'm not directly involved, but from what my recollection of this was that was supposed to have gone to COVA, but something happened and it didn't, we had to get all that squared away earlier on, I think all that's done in that state.
So Mercy Flight owns that building,
Not yet,
No,
COVA.
or Cobra, currently.
Right. I think that just happened not too long ago.
It did, it was supposed to have happened quite a while ago,
Right.
from what we understand, but that piece didn't happen, and that was one of the things that held up or slowed down the process, because that had to get squared away before anything else could move forward. So my understanding was that was corrected and taken care of, so that it was reflected appropriately. The ambulances, which is, as far as I understand, is kind of owned the ambulances for a while anyways. And so that piece was okay, it was just the building that they had to kind of square away. So my understanding is that that's been taken care of, so. There's no guarantee when this stuff happens, because you're dissolving a not-for-profit. There's nobody that can get that money, it's to go to another not-for-profit. You know, and since we've been operating COVA, and we've been covering and paying all the bills and paying all the stuff, you know, all of the attorneys that are involved, ours and theirs, are pretty confident that, you know, when this law gets presented, that asset transfer, not just transfer all that stuff.
So do you guys own, as Hamlin Volunteer Ambulance, own anything in that building? Like any assets at all? Do you have volunteers or is it all paid staff?
All paid
No,
staff.
there's not a single,
Used to be volunteer
Yes.
for you guys.
Yeah, we had it right up until we merged with Mercy Point. We had volunteers. Didn't have a lot, but we had a couple.
There is actually some Department of Labor implications where you're paying a staff and you have volunteers doing the same job. So some places, there's a lot of places that do it and just kind of hope that everybody just turns a blind eye to it, but we don't. We can have volunteers do stuff at Mercy Point, like on a different level, like if they're helping with fundraising or development stuff, that's fine, but there's some implications when you have a basic EMT that's being paid and somebody that's volunteering, there's Department of Labor issues with that. You're not supposed to do that.
The volunteers that we did have when we merged with Mercy Point were given the opportunity to come on board paid. And
We offered everybody that opportunity. Anybody that was volunteering that wanted to come on, we gave them the opportunity to come on and to be paid.
how many staff are?
out of the base right now, I think I got 16 people on my roster. So we usually do about, and again, as far as staffing goes, 1 paramedic and 2 BLS providers on all the time. So and that's included, we've got 6 full-time EMTs and 3 full-time paramedics, with the rest being variable part-time employees. Yes, that's 9 full-time and 7 or 8 part-time.
And that keeps the staffing up, the vehicle staff, the ambulance, 24/7.
Like, insurance is not paying,
No, we're in network with most of the insurance companies, so
It seems like she's talking probably Medicare and all that.
we're in network with all of them, we get paid directly. We bill through a third-party billing company, we get paid from the insurance company. COVA chose to not do that, and they were relying on the hope that the insurance company would pay them, and oftentimes they were sending the money to the patient.
yeah, that.
And they
That's
weren't,
the issue on the ambulance.
and they weren't-
It's
they
by
weren't-
itself, that's the issue.
yeah, and they weren't always getting the money. We are actually in network with the insurance companies, so we, aside from the fact that they just changed the law, that now basically directs the insurance companies to pay the provider and not the patient.
Yeah, they were trying to do that for a long time.
Yeah, that, it passed. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's in effect yet, but it passed. But aside from that, and prior to that, we are actually in network with all the major insurance companies, Medicaid, Medicare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, all those providers. So when we bill, we always get paid directly to us, and never goes to the patient.
Anything else?
No, it's just encouraging that your staffing issues are, in today's world, that there's people coming up that want to do it.
I knock on wood every day.
It's encouraging.
It's definitely been very, very good for us. And we, like everybody, we had some issues a few years back, where, we were short-staffed. We had, a couple of years ago, we had a pretty hellacious summer, and it was tough. We were pulling flight crews, to help out our ground ambulances when we had to, those kinds of things. Because we were short-staffed like everybody else was. And, we started working this plan, and as far as hiring and getting our folks from within to go to paramedic school, and within a year, we turned that around. And like I say, today we had moved up until taking over the Central and Eastern Orleans County January 1, we we brought everybody on from Cova and Hamlin that wanted to come over when we did this merger. You know, and we were continuing to have those crews do their crew change in Elliott, but we were bringing that ambulance down to Genesee County every day to cover. You know, it was kind of an extra in Genesee County. You know, between starting that and then coming back, we have enough staff, we kept that extra ambulance on in Genesee County. You know, we were running 7 down in Genesee County prior to the one that we were bringing on out of Orleans when this happened, maybe 8, but, you know, we're still running 8 ambulances down there now because we had to keep it on because otherwise we'd have a place to put staff again, so. I like having that
Good
problem.
problem to have, yeah.
I like having that problem.
For sure.
Thank you guys for
Thank
what
you.
you do.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out here.
yeah.
No problem. Yeah, we can do
You're good at it.
Yeah.
it. Okay,
All right.
great, thanks.
Thanks for coming
Okay, back to the regular stuff. Requesting town board resolution to approve the regular town board meeting minutes of February 10th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
in. Robert,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Volkel, Jaeger,
Yes.
Buzz.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution to approve the payment of bills from their respective funds.
Second.
Robert,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Volkel, Jaeger, Buzz.
Yes. I need to read that quick thing there.
And we'll just add in that I did get the, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, that we didn't have last month. We got her this month. We got her just, well, earlier this month, I should say, not last month. Okay, number 8. A local law proposing to amend chapter 442 taxation. Article 8, volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption 442-21, qualification for exemption of the code of the town of Hamlin. Whereas the town of Hamlin desires to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the town of Hamlin by amending chapter 442 taxation, article 8, volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption, 442-21, qualification for exemption of the code of the town of Hamlin to extend benefits to those volunteers who provide such volunteer services to a contingent, yeah, sorry,
That's okay.
town, whether said town be located in Monroe County or Orleans County, and whereas it is necessary to hold and conduct a public hearing to consider the enactment of introductory local law number 1-2025, now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Hamlin, Monroe County, New York as follows. Section 1, the town board of the town of Hamlin shall hold and conduct a public hearing on introductory local law number 1-2025, a local law proposing to amend Article 8, volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption 442-21. Qualifications for exemptions, the code of the town of Hamlin, which public hearing shall be held and conducted at Hamlin Town Hall, 1658 Lake Road, Hamlin, New York, on the 10th day of March, 2025 at 6:30 p.m., in which hearing all interested persons shall be heard concerning the subject matter thereof. The local law proposes to change chapter 442 taxation, article 8, volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption 442-21, qualifications for exemption of the town of Hamlin code. Section 2, that the complete text of such local law is presently on file at the office of the town clerk, where may be examined by all interested persons during normal business hours. Section 3, that the town clerk shall give due notice of such public hearing as required by law.
Second.
Robert,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Volkel, Jaeger,
Yeah.
Buzz.
Yes. All right, we already did our ambulance company. Does anybody else have any resolutions? Anything I forgot? Okay. Is there any discussion then? I don't know if you want to.
On Auctions International, there's a bucket truck. Our truck is uninspectable, we need to find a new one, not new.
New use.
new to us, yeah, they're new used. There's one from a town in North Carolina that is just inspected, has no issues, spoke to them. Obviously, it's clean because it's in North Carolina. We just started, I just asked Phil and Steve to look at this morning with me, but the auction ends on Monday night. We haven't even decided. I did look at Caltech's website. They have.
Yeah, you come there, yeah,
Okay.
but you can tell them, that's
So-
all right.
So we looked around at what is actually out there used from the manufacturer. Most of the trucks are around $100,000. There are 6 in Pennsylvania that are about $45,000 that are equivalent to this truck. But what condition they're in, because they're out of Pennsylvania, I don't know without getting a hold of the salesman. So it's just something we're looking at potentially. We haven't found anything else. I've actually been looking for a couple of years when they told us 3 years ago that they weren't going to inspect it for nothing.
Do we need a resolution, or just so he can, or if the auction is what, Monday night?
I don't,
Are they interested in that one, or you wanted to keep looking, like?
I don't think we're gonna find, those 6 trucks that are in Pennsylvania and this one, if it went for the right price, are the best thing I've seen in a while. I priced a new one, and their only number to me was $175,000. So it took 3 years to get it, and then we'll tell you what the actual price is. We can't justify that.
Right.
Steve bought this truck out of the military surplus. We got it out of a prison in Michigan. We paid $4,500 for it. It has served us very well for what we needed. But they don't exist. I've looked all over it, unless we want to put one on a ship and bring it from Hawaii, because they're available in Hawaii.
Jennifer's got a connection.
I'll go.
She'll go.
I'll go get it.
So,
I guess the way you make a resolution to give Mike the, at least,
Right.
go ahead,
What's probably any dollar.
Yeah.
You're right, we can make a resolution, you could do a go ahead, but we have to try to put a dollar amount
I mean, what's
not to
the
exceed
top?
or whatever.
in it. Not to exceed, right, exactly.
What would you say is fair not to go above it? Obviously, you're gonna go the deal, and you're gonna get it.
40. Is that reasonable?
And you'd be able to get something for that?
If it went for over 40, I think it's time to call the manufacturer, we'll look at those trucks in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So why don't we just do that then? Just do a resolution, give them the ability to buy it, not to exceed $40,000. A bucket truck.
Your resolution?
Yeah.
You have the money.
All right, Joel's made a resolution.
I'll second.
40,000?
40,000.
40,000. Yep. Right, Hurlbut,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Poco, Becker,
Yes.
us.
Yes. And Mike can get you, or even I can too, it's on Office International, a little bit more information on that truck too, so this resolution will be a little more specific.
Well,
It's from Auctions International, North Carolina, or whatever, I mean,
And it's a bucket truck?
It's a 2015 Ford F-550. It has 138,000 on it.
There's no serial numbers.
No, I know it, there won't be, not until
You
you
just
buy
park there
it.
and get in it, and then you go. Get a whole thing.
It's a diesel engine too.
Yeah, but that's a truck will have.
No, I mean, it's a diesel, not a gas, I'm just like,
Yeah, the pin color is a truck.
diesels will go for that one, that one, gas, usually. Okay,
That's all.
No, good idea.
any other discussion?
We talked about the racial register, we had emails back and forth, Liz worked on some figures for that, I got your email.
And that one guy, I think, because it's not a building lot, like, a defined building lot, like, you might have a. How many properties?
That's a landlocked piece. So that's a little bit different, that piece.
But you would have to get variances.
But it's only landlocked by his own property.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be landlocked.
You can actually,
He landlocks it.
Well, I don't think he landlocked it, I think
No, I
his
know.
family might have
The family
landlocked
did,
it.
but he owns it now, so.
Yes, he owns it, but it is a landlocked piece.
Correct. But he can merge it.
He can through planning board, he cannot do a courtesy
Right,
merge, that is
right,
correct,
right.
yes, yes.
But if he wants to, he can.
At a cost, yes.
Yes.
Which you said was gonna be more
Well,
than.
wait a second, we have an attorney here, and I have a question. For the attorney, so a building lot, because I did some research where they checked the coding for zoning for New York State, it says a building lot is considered a building lot when all variances are approved, or, let's say, for him, he'd have to come to the zoning board and get a variance to make this a building lot.
What would the variance be for?
Because he would have to put in a road or something.
Were you at the last meeting?
No.
no, she doesn't.
It's really weird, he's got a lot right next to his own lot
Mm-hmm.
on the water, and for some reason, the back piece of the lot is pieced off into a separate lot. It's really odd. So his side lot is considered two pieces, so the back portion is landlocked.
So, this is just me, it's got nothing to do legal. Why doesn't he make it all one piece, just so he's not paying 3 different tax bills?
He preferred to come in and do a courtesy merge, but he was not eligible to do a
Okay.
courtesy merge. So I told him what he needed to do, but it would be at a cost. But that doesn't mean he's not gonna do it. I have no idea what he's gonna do.
Well, I sent you all an email.
Yeah,
First of all, a building lot is a building lot, okay? It's not an approved building lot until,
One variance.
so those lots are building lots because you could build on them. They're not approved building lots because they haven't had a site plan, they haven't had the health department look at it. So Liz, when she does her assessments, she assesses a building lot as a building lot. An approved building lot is much more valuable than just a building lot, okay? So that's what that is. And I sent you all an email about you're going to be changing things, and it's my understanding that in the past this has been done. I was not part of that. I don't know what happened, why it was done, but legally, you cannot do that without changing the order that you issued when you issued the sewer district. Okay, I've talked to another town attorney, he said absolutely not, you cannot give somebody a break and up somebody else's sewer cost because you've taken a lot off. You can actually put the town at a risk for a lawsuit. You have to actually
Without a
go.
public hearing. correct?
Yeah, oh no, you gotta do another public hearing?
Yeah.
You're changing the law, you've gotta do everything all over
so you
again.
have to change that law and then have the hearing.
Yes,
But Maureen, when I do courtesy merges and I eliminate one, that's different.
that's different, yes.
I just wanna make sure I'm okay
Yes.
doing that, okay?
Cause if you eliminate a lot, that lot no longer exists.
Cause I did one.
Right, yeah, I saw that, yep. yep.
That's okay, okay.
Just for the information, this fellow that came in, Maureen, with that lot, that, and it's hard if you don't have a map looking at it, but if you just eliminated interior boundary lines to merge those three, would that have to be resurveyed?
I don't think it needs, I don't know with
Like if he
Sherry,
was to do that, come to the planning board
yeah,
and say, you know, I wanna eliminate these internal lines,
yeah, I don't,
I don't, is that, can you do that without having to go through the whole survey
I'm
process?
gonna have to ask Rich that question, because Sheriff is such a odd bird down at the county. He has his own specific ways of doing things, if you don't with, because they used to allow that,
But that would be a courtesy merge.
yeah.
Yeah, not like a merge.
So just erasing a line is a courtesy merge. Or, you know, putting the
By
depth, yes.
definition.
That is what I talked to Steve Schwartz and Sharif down at the county. That's the definition of a courtesy merge. So that means they have to go the other way. And that would be through planning and get the approval with the survey. This county doesn't let you just erase lines.
And the reason why they do that is because they were, 20 years ago, we just wrote a deed and said, we're gonna split this up in blue. The attorneys were creating non-conforming lots. So the county said, you're not gonna do that anymore. You have to come to a planning board, you have to get their approval. You can still do that in Orleans County. We can just file a deed and be done. Not here in Monroe County. So it does have to be done that way.
So to answer your question then, I mean, if you guys, if this board wants to proceed with that,
But
we
then
gotta
also,
we gotta
they
rewrite.
would have to, the other people would have to pay that extra.
So he's taking 3 lots and only making 1. So he's not really upping anybody else's cost, because instead of having those 3 lots that had 3 grinder pumps on it, no longer, we don't have to service 3 lots, we only have to service 1. So the cost will actually,
He's paying 3 separate sewer taxes, full EDUs.
If he was,
on
I
each
think she's saying if
property.
he was submerging.
So you
if he
take-
merges them, that's the,
If he merges them, then it's only one lot, he only pays one.
right.
Right,
Yeah, but that
currently he's
cost
paying
will-
3.
Currently, he's
so-
paying 2.5.
So if he's currently paying $500,
I have no idea what he's.
whatever,
Yeah.
let's just throw out a figure, say 600, 200 for each lot, and you make it 1 lot, he's only gonna pay 200. So somebody's
Right,
gotta
but-
absorb the other.
But remember, that $200 he's paying is for maintenance and for, future replacements to those grinder pumps. If you only have 1 lot and not 3, you don't have maintenance fees on that 2 other lots, you only have it on 1.
But the bond is so much money,
But the
so,
bond,
Yeah.
he'd still be paying.
But the maintenance fee is what you're
right.
getting extra money
Some of that
for
money would
too.
still go to the other people.
Right,
And then if
So-
you do that Pandora's box, then the other people are gonna want. If
they
there's
can
other-
merge their properties, that's up to them.
Yeah.
This
But-
was all discussed at the public hearing originally.
So, like I was saying though, so, I mean, this is up to the board's discretion to do this. If you guys wanna vote to rewrite the law, have another whole public hearing, and give everybody down there then that
That
is a building
chance.
lot without a building on it, the thing, and tell the people that your taxes, the other people that your taxes are going up and everything. That's a vote of this board.
But he also has buildings on those other 2 lots. I mean, granted, they're a garage and whatever that shed or whatever you call the other one.
I think it's just a shed, I'm not exactly sure.
I think we just push it back to him, if he wants to do it, pay the cost or whatever he needs to, you know, go through planning and zoning or whatever.
He's also got a $600 relief too.
I'd like to move forward with public hearing, make all the vacant lots half an EDU, all the full lots an EDU. I think it was done wrong from the get-go, I said it, I'm doing the face. I think we're gonna get more people complaining, like, why am I paying a full sewer tax on a vacant property?
And the reason why they're playing that on a vacant property, because now these properties that previously you couldn't build on because you couldn't put a septic system on, you now can build on. because you've got sewers.
With variances.
Right,
With,
Right.
yeah, there's not a lot down there that won't take a variance.
absolutely, because they're
That's
all, yeah.
That's just the way there is too. There isn't a vacant lot down there that won't take a variance to put a house on.
None of those lots on the water are compliant with zoning, not one of them,
No,
yeah.
so I mean, but you can get a zoning variance to
Absolutely.
do something. There isn't a single lot down there. I admit that
Yeah.
you don't need a variance.
And I think that was the thought back then, is that's why they did full EDUs on each vacant lot, is because they now become a more viable lot to actually build on.
Then why are new projects we're looking at? We just got MRB engineered that new water district, and every vacant lot is half an EDU, and every non-vacant lot is a full EDU. Like, if that's what we've done in the past, which is what we have done for previous districts, I don't know why, that's what was supposed to be done with this district. That's what was said at a public hearing. It got changed. We've had 2 more public hearings. I just think it's done wrong. I think we should make it right. And I think
Water lines
This would be
do not
right.
always get, I don't know what they were umpteen years ago, but the ones since I've been, even when I was highway superintendent, were charged full EDU when people own, on vacant farmland, we are, on farmland, we have to abide by the state.
Yeah.
They tell us I cannot put a full EDU on farmland.
That's ag market.
Ag markets, all right, yeah, whatever, ag markets
It's ag market
dictate
law.
what I
That
do.
is the ag market law,
But
yes.
what is the right thing to do? Because, yeah, I mean, more than just saying that, well, we have to do all this, it's gonna take time, we have to do a public hearing, but is that the right thing to do? 'Cause I always
I
believe we
think it's
should,
the right
I
thing.
think we should probably always do the right thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter what we, how much time it takes, or, well, I mean, if you're an attorney and you're suggesting.
I'm just giving you what you need to do legally. It's not, this is not my town. I don't make the decisions. My opinion doesn't
But
count.
then,
What's
these
right or
guys end
not.
up
It's up to
building
what you
houses
guys
that-
want.
Then they
You
go
get
to
a
full
full
EDUs.
Yeah.
That's what I do right now. Me and Steve went through some special districts the other day and had to correct things. Then there were 6 of them we had to correct that were other districts, where
Well-
houses were reduced or they were added
They
on.
weren't being taxed.
5 of them weren't being taxed, and
Yeah.
it wasn't near the water, we were talking about something totally different district.
Right.
So that's what happens, there's a situation right there, where we added some,
Right.
so.
Different areas in town, but then make a resolution and we'll have to vote on it tonight.
I think like, too, with the figures that Liv sent, like, obviously if it was gonna be a hardship and it was gonna change people's taxes, like hundreds of dollars, it's $24
And it's $12 per sum.
or $12 per year, which
But
is.
you know, Jennifer, because people will come and complain.
Mhm.
But if you guys think it's the right thing to do, I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you-
Well,
if you-
ultimately,
This is your town and
if
these
you're
are your
gonna go to a public
constituents. You
hearing,
do what you
the
think
people
is
that are
best.
making the decision are the ones in that sewer district.
Right.
You
Right.
can take a vote at the public hearing,
Yeah,
they can either say we're gonna change it, or we're not.
Yeah, you could do
Right.
that. Absolutely.
That would be the right thing to do, have the people that are in that district make that decision. But
Right.
it's ultimately up to them.
but we have to, as a town board, we have to vote to do that.
Right.
Well, I like that, because it is, and that would be the right thing. So we at least do the public hearing, right, or do we actually go forward?
Can you do an informational meeting first to get the people so they can understand?
We could send out letters. We've
Yeah,
had a big problem with the water letters going out.
I'm just saying, cause didn't we do an
Not a single
informational
person
meeting?
wants to pay the amount.
I know. Yeah.
It's
Um,
terrible.
And what we did in Parma is we said, we're gonna put this district together, and if we get the grant, then we'll go forward. If no grant, district gets dissolved. So that's another way to put it to those people, okay? But did we do an informational meeting to start with?
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here.
I was not here for
I
it.
think we did an informational meeting, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
It was during COVID, wasn't it?
Wow,
And it was like
Yeah.
We did.
broadcasted and
Yeah.
people could ask questions.
I remember something, I remember something information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
I was highway then.
Yeah.
we had an informational meeting, and
We
then
did.
the last meeting we had, done by, for the COVID.
Right. We did have a information.
We can probably set up an information.
I just don't know if we just set out a public hearing, if people are gonna actually understand what you're asking and what's going on, you know? I think if you set out an informational meeting, then if 5 people come from the district, they're gonna go to everybody else in the district and say, hey, they're gonna have a public meeting, we all need to go. You know, to me, 5 people showing up to a public hearing is not good. You know, I think the whole district should be there,
Correct.
yeah.
So
Send a
then what
letter
do you
to
do
them.
after you do the informational meeting? You're just basically telling them about proposing a half EDU on vacant, that's all you're doing, and what is that gonna?
Well, you would have the numbers together of what their taxes would,
Yeah, what it would change.
what it would change.
But I already got that, and so you would just do that, and then what? If the people wanted it, then they would go forward with the public hearing?
That's up to them.
But is that how it
But
works?
that would work.
Okay, I just didn't understand how it worked.
Just like we did
Could
with
we
the
just
water.
send a letter that says that, we're to every.
Yeah, you could do that,
Say,
yeah.
we're thinking of changing, you know, this is something we've been talking about. We're thinking of changing it, and we're gonna hold a public hearing on this,
Yeah,
on this date and time, and.
yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. But just make sure everybody in the district got it so they know where the public hearing's gonna be in that.
Which
Let's do
is
the-
tough right now.
What?
It's tough right
Oh, okay.
now. You're sending letters to Arizona, to Florida,
Oh.
it's winter time.
It's right.
Oh,
Half
yeah.
those places are empty right now.
Well, yeah, you don't wanna have a public hearing then until
Not
they're
until,
back to the summer,
April,
then I
right.
forgot about that.
Oh, I know that. You don't wanna have a
Yeah.
public hearing only in the summertime when the people are back.
That's still enough time for me to change them for next year.
For next year, yeah.
If you choose
Well,
to
we
do
can,
so, you have enough time.
you can send a letter out for informational and stuff, but that's when we sent the letters out for the sewer before.
Mhm.
How many of them came back because they were in there? How many phone calls did we get? They didn't get to them.
If you did it, I would wait.
Right.
That's a good point.
I think it's a good idea to have a public hearing and hear what the public has to say.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So when do you think the letter should go out?
April, maybe May,
Later on in April or May.
that's when they come back.
People are starting to come back in May.
Do we need a resolution or something?
Need a resolution to a public hearing together. You're just sending out an informational letter to these people saying, we're gonna have one, we'll let you know when it is. Look, you know, this is what we're looking to do.
I have something, I don't know if I'm supposed to speak or not, but I just wanted to let you guys know that some residents, and I actually got a few texts today from some residents, are receiving these letters from New York State regarding their basic star exemption. And the state is questioning them and want them to call into New York State and answer some questions to make sure that they're eligible and they're supposed to be getting it.
That's a thing.
Yeah, you got it, Greg Spear texted me. I heard
I was
he
just
said,
gonna say, it's legit.
yeah,
Well,
it
that's
is,
what I
it is a
wondered.
pain.
It is
Still
legit though?
It is legit, yes.
You gotta
it's
go
legit.
online, and first thing you gotta do
I didn't
is,
get
Your social
anything.
security
I didn't
number?
either, it's random.
No.
Really?
That's why one of us was.
yeah, and make an account with New York State taxation and
That's
finance or
interesting.
whatever.
They're trying to make it more and more difficult.
Did you do all that?
They
You
are
went
this
online
way.
Yeah.
and did all that?
Took me like 45 minutes and it was nothing but a headache.
That's what Greg Spear said. He said, "Me, what a pain this
It
is."
was ridiculous.
Yeah. So they're random. I just wanna let you guys know if you could call, it's random.
I don't know if I'd go online and get all this social
I
security
don't
or
know
not.
either.
Right.
I'd be like,
It's
So what
weird.
alternative? Then
Have you
you
heard
lose-
about it?
Then you
I
lose your
have
star
not.
It's
exemption
just for basic start. It's
for
weird.
basic star.
Is that like a threat that they're threatening you?
You have 45 days to respond.
Or you'll lose your start. You will, they'll send me a report and I have to remove them. They're really cracking
I
down
mean, I
on
didn't do
stars.
it because
Maybe
I
somebody
came in
on
and asked
Channel
Liz
10
to see if it was legit.
Yeah.
What are we gonna say? It's random. I mean, I've only known right now 2 here.
I don't care if it's random or not, maybe somebody will call Channel 10 and sell them and go after New York State because it sounds kind of fishy.
Yeah, because to sign up for it is a very simple, you just go to the website, put in your address, say you're the owner, a few other things, and boom, you're signed up for it. So that's really weird.
It's the same thing for like, if you are a new homeowner and you have to apply for the Star Credit Check, that's what they're making them do, is go through that process as if they were signing up for it.
It's a whole, just navigating the New York State website
Yeah.
is, you gotta be a lawyer to figure that out.
That's why we got one.
No offense,
One take.
but it's ridiculous. The, oops. And
So
it's what,
if you
2%
Sort of.
of,
Oh, yeah, 2%, only 2% of New York State was getting these letters. So it was random, very random.
And it didn't matter age or anything, it's just random.
Phil got one a week ago, Greg Spear got one today. You know, I know some other towns, they've gotten them, it's very random. Just make sure you do it, because you'll lose your exemption if
you
you
have
don't, or
45
your
days
check.
to respond.
Sounds like if Phil got it, it's the top 2% that don't have to.
Yeah, that must be.
Right.
That was it, thank you.
Seeing there's no other discussion, what did you want to list it under?
It's probably the one
The
we
very end one?
mostly use anyways.
I think it's the top one we usually use.
The medical, financial credit, employment history, like the person, corporation, and matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion,
Yeah. That's what letter?
after that.
Oh, yes, this is what I go to all the time. All right, seeing if there is no more at 8:03 PM, you're gonna call it executive session, or call town board resolution, go to executive session for the medical, financial credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation.